Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Toronto Blue Jays franchise on MLB 20, the show. I decided to do the Blue Jays for this just because they have an impressive young core. Vladdy Jr., Gurriel Jr., Bo Bichette, and others fill out a very impressive core that could be potentially a dark horse contender next season and maybe even this season, depending on how we play our cards. And that was really why I wanted to pick them, is they already kind of had a young core, but they would still need some team building. They don't have that many terrible contracts, and so it's just about making the smart moves to get them to the next step. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the formatting for the series. I'm more interested in the team building side, and that's not to say I don't enjoy playing the game, but I much prefer getting through seasons and seeing the team really grow. And because of that, I'm going to be playing about one game a month. And with each game, we're going to do a monthly recap where we talk about the minor league teams, the stats, how we're doing in comparison to the rest of the league. Just things like that to kind of keep us updated and in the loop. But the reason, once again, why I want to play one game a month is so that we can kind of eat away at seasons and get to progressing with the team. And also just so that way the series may not get stale for you guys. Now, the goal of this series is to be realistic but also fun. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to trade for any huge stars like a Mike Trout or something like that, just because that just doesn't really feel fun to me. And also because I think it's more interesting to see these prospects develop. Now, that being said, there's not much I can really do to counter against the game itself having some dumb mechanics with CPU trade logic and whatnot. So as far as teams to other teams trading, that may be dumb and unrealistic, but there's just not much I can do to counter it other than turn off those trades entirely. And the problem with that is that then there's no evolving MLB. No new dynasties rise and others fall. It's just the same teams being good at the top, and at that point, that doesn't even become fun. So, yeah. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the players and actually meet the roster for this team. So, leading off against righties and lefties, we have shortstop Bo Bichette. The kind of rookie phenom last year, only played 46 games, but he showed a lot. He's a high contact, decent power type of guy, and the exact guy that we want leading off for us. He's an A potential and 22 years old, so he's one of the main guys that this rebuild is going to be centered around. Looking at his stats, he got on base at a pretty good rate. His slugging percentage was really good, and so we hope that we can access that over the spread of a full 162 game season. Now, the next man up is going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He hits really well against righties, so he's going to be batting in the 2 spot against righties, but against lefties, that's going to definitely be one spot for improvement over the course of this rebuild. Now, he is going to be playing mostly first base for us. We're not going to really focus on making his fielding that much better. We really want to work on getting his power game better over the course of this rebuild. As you can see, his stats from last season, he got on base at a pretty slightly above average rate. His slugging percentage was pretty good, but we hope to increase those percentages over the course of the season. Now, the man batting in the 3 spot is going to be Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He hits very well against left-handed pitching, but he's still a force to be reckoned with against righties. I kind of want to just get him better as an all-around hitter, maybe a little bit here and there as a fielder. He's going to be splitting time in between left field and third base for us. Taking a look at his stats from last season, his slugging percentage was very good. He did get on base at an average level, so it's not, terrible. We would prefer to increase it, but I'm really happy with the slugging percentage that he has. And once again, he's going to stay in that number 3 hole for us. Now, the next man up is going to be Teoscar Hernandez. He hits really well against righties and lefties for power, so that's exactly why he's going to be batting cleanup for us. 81 speed means he also has potential of stealing bases when he gets on them, and he's a B potential and only 27. So he's entering kind of the prime of his career at a pretty good potential, so we're hoping that he at least evolves more as a player. We're going to try to focus on his contact. Now, other than that, we have a couple of half-decent depth guys here with Travis Shaw and Randall Grichuk and Joe Panik. Panik is just kind of going to be a DH for us against lefties. You're going to notice he's going to be batting second just because of Vladdy Jr.'s not really being that great against left-handed pitching. But then the next big prospect that we want to focus on is Kevon Biggio. Now, he's not that great of a hitter. His discipline is very good, and his fielding is pretty good, but he's an A potential, and he's 24 years old, and he hasn't had that much of an opportunity in the majors. So we're hoping to really access that over the course of this rebuild. Now, I want to work on getting him better overall at just hitting against righties and lefties for contact and having him get on base. Though he did hit 16 home runs last year and he had a slugging percentage of .429, we still just want to work on his natural getting on base, which he's shown an ability to do with a .364 OBP last season. Other than that, I'm just going to show you guys the lineup here for left-handed pitching. Once again, Joe Panic batting in that number 2 spot. And we also have Rowdy Tellez batting in this lineup. He's just a pretty good hitter overall for power. He's a first baseman / DH for us, but once again, since we want Vladdy in that spot, it's kind of going to be awkward to get him playing time. Now, these lineups can once again just kind of evolve and change over the course of the season, so we'll just see how they do. Now, moving on to the pitching rotation for this team, we're going to be led by Ace Hyunjin Ryu. He has had 2 very, very good seasons for the Dodgers in real life. He posted a sub-3 ERA last year and a sub-2 ERA in 2018. And this is where I'm kind of going to pose a question. He's 33, so I understand he's a little older, but he's on a 4-year deal for us. And I probably am going to slow down the regression that he's going to see this season. As opposed to having him regress to like a 78 or 77 overall, I'd prefer him just go down to like an 83 and 81. I just think that that's a more realistic set of regression for him, but obviously that's all going to be performance based. If he sucks, then yeah, we'll just let him regress and we'll try to flip him at the deadline. If he's really good, then I don't want him to kind of take a huge fall in his ratings for that. Now, given the rest of the rotation, it is all pretty old. Matt Shoemaker's here on a 1-year deal. I'm hoping that we can make something out of him. And Ryan Borky, he's kind of our highest upside of an MLB-ready pitcher right now. And we hope that he can just be developed to be kind of the 5th starter, maybe the 4th starter in this rotation. But other than that, I'm not really looking for any of these starters to really add to much longevity. So we're going to definitely need to get another quality starting pitcher. As for the bullpen, outside of Ken Giles and like Anthony Bass, I don't know how good we're going to be here either. We're definitely going to have to pick up some guys, probably in the offseason. Maybe we'll be buyers at the deadline given our record. But we're definitely going to have to pick up guys to help us fill out the bullpen. But at least we have closing pitcher held down. Ken Giles has been a fine closer. He's 29 B potential. He shouldn't devolve and regress for us too much in the course of this rebuild. But other than that, we kind of want to focus on some of our like AAA prospects, AA prospects, and just players that aren't on the Major League roster at this time. So the first prospect we have is Nate Pearson. He has a very nice 69 overall. He's an A potential and 23 years old. He's already pretty good at hits per 9 and Ks per 9. We do need him get him to tone down on the home runs and the walks. But other than that, I don't think that it's nothing that a little bit of minor league time can do. I fully expect him to be in the majors either next year or the year after, just given his development and performance in AAA this season. Now, the next guy is going to be Alek Manoah. He's an A potential 65 overall who's also 22 years old. I fully expect him to be a player that we might be able to use the year after next, so in like 2022. His hits and Ks per 9 are pretty good. Obviously, he needs to work on basically everything else, but we have him under team control until like 2025 or 2026. And then the final prospect we're looking at the pitchers is going to be Simeon Woods Richardson, another A potential, except he's the youngest of the 3. He's 19 years old and already a 65 overall. He's pretty average at everything, so we're going to need to focus on just improving him overall as a pitcher. We have him under team control until 2025, and he's just another developmental piece. I think he's going to be starting out in AA for us. Now, looking at some other prospects, there's Gabriel Moreno over at catcher. Decent hitter, great fielder. I'm hoping that he can be a half-decent catcher, at least for AAA. I don't expect him to really be a major part of the rebuild. A couple third baseman prospects here. We have Miguel Geraldo, already a decent hitter, fielder, and he's moderately fast. I could see myself moving him to second base or shortstop, but either way, with where he's at now, he's already a pretty good player for us. Once again, I don't know if he will be a part of the team in the future. And then we have Jordan Groshans. A good fielder, decent hitter, not as fast as Geraldo, but I mean, still, he's a pretty competent player. He'll be playing in Double League for most of this thing for us. And then we have Orelvis Martinez, a shortstop prospect, the 18-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Once again, all of these guys are just decent contact, decent fielding, and then some of these guys will have better speed than others. So he's just another one of those guys. All of these guys, I just expect to be helpful pieces in the minors for now. If they rake and they do absolutely amazing over the course of the season, maybe they'll get stat increases. Maybe we'll see them get called up and be a part of the future. But as of right now, these are guys that we may look to use as trade bait for other teams that are looking to start rebuilds. And other than that, that'll do it for the first episode. So overall, we have a really good young team here with a lot of potential. I'm hoping that we can flip some of those prospects that I showed to other teams. Once again, they're looking to start rebuilds that maybe are already rebuilding, who just want to offload veterans, just to see if we can get maybe a better bullpen, maybe another starter, and maybe some helpful depth in the outfield or at catcher. Other than that, one other thing I'm going to want to focus on is scouting. I'm going to try to have quality drafts for this thing. But other than that, the first game, opening day, should be up the next day after this goes up. So thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the series in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you all for watching. See ya.